All right, we got cut off there, and I am back, and I will show you now where I am. And here we are at Black Rock State Park, Thompson, Connecticut. It is the home, or right down the street from the DEEP's Western District headquarters. Down in that parking lot is my truck next to that pond. I don't know if you can see the pond there. There's a pond over there. So I'm going to encourage everyone to, when you put up a question or a comment, please put it up where you're messaging from as well. But is this not one of the most beautiful views in the state of Connecticut? It is just absolutely gorgeous to be here. And it's not a very far hike from the parking lot. It's over a half a mile, or about a half a mile, I guess, all the way from where I parked. So the uphill is a little over a quarter of a mile, and you're going pretty straight up. So let's stand up, give you a view down. There you go. And the trail will be hiking back. We're going to hike back to the park. The trail is over there. All right. So why don't we head down our trail? And I don't believe that's the trail. So we're going to go over this way. So I'm not sure how the reception is. If somebody wants to comment, let me know how it's coming in. I'm not seeing any comments. I see there's a few people watching, but I'm not able to see any comments yet. So hopefully you guys are able to follow me. There we go, Blue Blaze Trail. So this is one of the Blue Blaze trails, which are, most of them are taken care of by the Connecticut Forest and Park Association. Even some of the ones, I believe they do still take care of ones that are in state parks. So they have volunteer crews that come out and take care of these. I will have to say, for me, going uphill is a lot easier than going downhill. My knees don't like these downhills so much. All right, looks like we've got some comments, so I am broadcasting. Let's continue down. So on the way up, I went a different trail up. I circled all the way around. I'm going to go the shorter way down here. It is a beautiful day today. Quite cool here in the park. It's not hot at all, especially in this sort of pine grove that grows on the side of this mountain. So there's a combination of trees here. I've seen some red pine, some white pine. We've got a lot of mountain laurel up in here. And mountain laurel is an evergreen. I guess considered a deciduous evergreen because it's a broad-leafed evergreen that maintains its leaves in the winter. And all right, so I would really suggest that people come up and enjoy this path. It's not the easiest path, so I would be careful about that, but it is a beautiful path to hike. Bob asks if I'm afraid of heights. I am afraid of heights, but I can do rock climbing and things like that. If I have gear, safety equipment, and feel safe, not so bad. But looking over that edge, I had to hold the camera over the edge, and I wasn't looking over that edge. So yeah, I'm a little nervous about heights. Now, if you look here, there's some beautiful rocks along the trail here. And it almost looks like, let's see if we pan over here, there's rock on both sides. We're sort of going between, in a little culvert, between these two rocks. Oops, angle down here. There we go. So this rock is mostly covered, but you can see there is some bedrock up there on the top. The massive rock on the right here, you can see the roots. Look at that tree growing right up around the rocks. Now, we did get a lot of rain last night, and I'm gonna say as we get further down, we're gonna be talking about the trail and the washout that happened here. Oh, look, here's some lichen. This is the yummy lichen. I like to eat this one. We will take a little piece just to nibble on as we go. So there we go. Some edible lichens. It tastes like mushrooms, which I really like mushrooms too, so. All right, let's continue down. Now, if you remember, I did eat this lichen on my trip to Farm River State Park, and I'm going to tell everyone, do not eat things that you find on the trail unless you are absolutely positive what they are and 100% positive that you're not allergic to them. I've eaten this many times, but I will have to say when I had it at Farm River, it was dried out and it didn't taste yummy. This one, though, tastes very yummy. So here I'm going to mention again, lots of rain. The rocks are slippery. This particular trail is grown over a lot of rock. So you're going to want to be very cautious if you're hiking a trail. Look at the weather conditions. We had a lot of rain last night, so everything is still wet. You can also see there is some washout, and we'll talk about that more as we get further down the trail. But just look at this for a second. This is a beautiful little pine grove, pretty high up. You'll see how steep we have to climb down in a second. So this is near the top. I almost feel like I'm in Vermont right here. So hiking in Vermont or New Hampshire in the White Mountains or the Green Mountains, this is kind of what it feels like. So we have these beautiful locations across Connecticut. And I say again and again, no Connecticut resident is further than 15 minutes from some park or state park or forest, wildlife management areas. Everyone should get out and take advantage of the fact these parks, these beaches, these open areas, this is your backyard. This is your facility. Hike it, but please take care of it. Finding trash up on a trail like this is really discouraging when you're swimming in a beautiful one of our swimming areas and you see trash floating by. It's not very pleasant. So keep that in mind. All right, do we have any comments here? Hemlock grows where it's cooler and shadier. Yep. Yeah, many of the evergreens like to grow in these cooler. That's why there's so much more of it up north. So here we've got our little obstacle of a trail here. Let's show you a bit what the trail looks like. Also, if you look over here, you can see there's a washout, pretty nice washout, but it's exposed a rock over there. That looks really cool. There's trees growing on the top of it. You can see some debris here that's been washed down and built up over the years. But we're going to stay over here. Again, this is not a trail. If you have some issues with walking, you need to do some little bit of jumping and some climbing here. Take a look at this rock formation here. If this is natural, it almost looks like stairs cut into the rock ledge. I'll show you from the bottom. It looks even more like stairs. Tree roots are acting like stairs as well. So let's take a look there. Look at that. It looks like stairs too, doesn't it? So Bob is one of the experts that I refer to when I have difficulty with plants. I call him the tree guy, but he knows about plants in general. And there is a plant down at the bottom here that I passed, and I don't even recognize it, which is really cool. I get excited about that because I've been hiking in the woods of Connecticut all my life, and when I see a plant that I don't recognize, that means either I haven't seen it enough to remember it, or I've never seen it at all, which is even better. But we'll see if Bob can help us identify it when we get there. It may be just a common plant that, because it doesn't have its flowers or it's past flowering or something, I don't recognize it, but I did not recognize it at all. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Black Rock State Park. It's 426 acres. It is called Black Rock because they used to mine graphite up here. And graphite, as you know, is black or dark in color. They have found native artifacts here. So this was used by native tribes. Mohegan, Pagusset, and Tunxis artifacts have all been identified here. And I'm not sure how you tell the difference, how you identify that, but that's what it's listed as. Oh, we're coming up on some people here, so I'm gonna keep the camera pointed off to the side as we pass this group. Not everybody wants to be on Facebook. Hello. All right. So the park was acquired in 1926, and it was a Black Rock Forest Incorporated was the civilian group that worked to get this as a park. And they were successful. In 1926, there is a campground here, and pulling into the park, I know I've been to Black Rock, but I had actually never visited the campground. And we could see the campground from that overlook, and it looks like a really nice campground. It looks like it's right under that overlook. So if anybody's looking for a place, a weekend getaway, you should go online and see if there's any camping availability here at Black Rock. So I think this would be a fantastic place to spend an evening. Now I'll have to say, going up the hill, I thought there was a lot more straight up climbing than coming down the hill. So this is not as bad as I thought when I was going up it. But also I thought I was running late, so I was moving pretty quickly up the hill. So there was some lore about why Black Rock is called Black Rock, and I believe it had something to do with the native tribes that lived in the area. But all it referred to was there are two reasons Black Rock is called Black Rock. One was legend, and one was because of the graphite mine. So I'd like to look up further and see what the legend of Black Rock is. All right, look at this. We're almost to the flat part. And let's take a pause here and look across. I love open forested areas. Not a lot of undercover, not a lot of shrub cover here. Gives you a better view. You can sort of see the topography of the land. If we pan over here, you can see it gets a steep there for a second, and then up here sort of flattens out again before it goes steep up to the overlook. So with a more open forested area, you can see what the shape is a little bit better than when you're in with a lot of shrub. Oh, here's a birch tree. Hard to tell, it's covered in moss. This area is really moist in here, probably why it's so cool. Many of the trees are covered in moss. So let's see, I think this is a hemlock covered in moss. Lots of green in here. So one of the reasons you do need to be cautious when you're hiking out on this trail because of all that moisture. Frog in my throat. You want to be cautious. So here's a red trail. We were on the blue trail. There is a red trail that goes off to this side. And then right at the fork of these two trails, right where the blue trail and the red trail, in this case, merge, the direction I'm going, are the plants. So hopefully Bob is still watching. And we're going to see if he can tell me. At first I thought it was a nettle by the seeds, but the leaves do not look like a nettle to me. So if Bob is watching, looks like I have a comment. It's so quiet. Is anything chirping? I do hear one bird chirping, but for the most part, it has been a very quiet walk today. Hey, my cousin's on. Hello, Brad. I hope everyone fared well with this storm. I'm waiting to see if Bob will tell us what this plant is. So I know there's a little bit of a delay, so hopefully Bob can tell us what that plant is. If he doesn't tell me while I'm live, we will make sure to post the identification of this plant. We've got a lot of lady fern here, so that's kind of cool. Look at this. When you're walking through the forest like this and it is so quiet, all I can hear right now is the wind passing through, and then that one sounds like a little sparrow chipping over here. You can almost visualize that you were a Native American, stalking prey through the forest. It looks like an annual impatiens, I think he's saying. Okay. Well, that is more information than I had. So we can pursue that a little further and make sure. Okay, so here's a good thing to talk about. This looks like a fork in the trail, right? We have this little right-hand fork here. So Bob's saying the impatiens has yellow and orange flowers. I think that the flowers are all blown off of that one, unless those are buds. I should have taken a closer look. But let's take a look. The blue trail goes in this direction, but you can see this looks like a trail right here. That's actually washout. That is the water that runs down the trail and has created sort of a stream bed over there. It looks like at one time that may have been a trail, and they moved the trail over here because of that constant washout. So this is where I'm going to ask people to please follow the trail. All right, even though one of my favorite sayings is just because I'm not on a trail doesn't mean that I'm lost, you should still, when there are trails, you stick to the trail. It's much better for everyone else that's going to be hiking the trail if you are using a trail. So we're going to continue down here. Looks like the blue trail continues off to my right, and we're going to leave the blue trail here. So that's the blue trail. And then down this way we have, you can see we're on the far side of the little pond over here. There is a trail that goes around the pond, but we're gonna cross over and circle around. But look at that this is just the end of the pond. It looks so cool. So that's shallow habitat. If you've seen my reptile programs, when I talk about the spotted turtle, this shallow end, this is where you might find, ooh, a big fish just hit something out there. Unless that was a turtle diving in and I didn't see it on the log. Right next to that log, there was a big splash. But this is a typical habitat for a spotted turtle. You can also, though, would expect to see painted and stinkpot turtles and snapping turtles in that shallow habitat area. You can see here's a tree. This one was cut down, looks like a hemlock. Not sure if it had some damage or they just needed to cut it down for another reason. Actually, it looks like a lot of trees need to come down there. Hi. So here's another little neat bridge. And I wanted to really point this out. Imagine when the water is really flowing, especially in the springtime, what this little overflow looks like. This spring must really be flowing here. More trees that are down. These are fresh trees, so not last night, but I'd say the storm Aias probably had something to do with those. And over here, so if we look here, I'm going to show you guys the map of the park here in a second. Now we've got some people here, so we'll make sure to put up the map of the park. But I want to show you this plant right here. This is, first look at this bridge. How cool is this? All right, we're going to look at these. All those orange flowers there. Those are touch-me-not or jewelweed, which is a remedy for poison ivy. This neutralizes urushiol oils. I hope I pronounced that well. But urushiol oil from poison ivy is what makes you itch. And if you rub this on, it will neutralize the oils. Now this shallow pond area here, actually let's go back a little bit and show you down this little pond out into the pond itself. We're gonna walk over there, but look at how cool that is. It's almost like a little river coming off of here. But again, this nice shallowy area, this is where you might see those little spotted turtles. I'm not seeing anything moving around. It is clear enough for me to see down in the water. Bob says no loosestrife. I have not seen any loosestrife. Purple loosestrife isn't invasive. And I'm very happy to report that I haven't seen any yet. So we're going to circle around on this side of the pond and we'll see if we have any loosestrife. There's damselflies. Can you guys see that? Damselfly right there. A little purpley blue. Damselflies and dragonflies, you can tell them apart because damselflies land with their wings folded up behind them, and dragonflies land with their wings flat out to the sides. They're related. They're in the same group, the same family. Okay, we're gonna walk over here. Actually, you can see my truck parked up on the hill there. And we're walking. There's sort of a picnic area around the pond here, which we'll walk around. And I believe there's a little trail that goes behind here, but it looks like some trees came down there as well. Again, I know that Connecticut really got hit pretty hard last night. I think that they've reported tornadoes. I don't know if they're confirmed yet, but hopefully everyone is well. I guess Brantford got hit pretty hard and many people there are still without power. So if you know anyone that was in these areas that may have been hit particularly hard, please reach out. Check on your friends and neighbors, anyone you know that might be out of power, and see if there's something you can do to help them out. Even if you just go over and socially distance, help them eat all their ice cream. Oh, here we go. There's a big white pine that had to be taken down. It looks like the top of it broke off, and then they cut the rest of it down. Almost creates sort of a dam across there, or a bridge. A nice little hemlock. I think everybody knows by now, if you've watched my programs, that I love hemlocks. I seem to always find them and point them out. White oak as well. Here's coming up on a nice white oak. Oh, there's some ducks. Look at how well camouflaged these ducks are. Look at that brown color, although flapping your wings like that really is giving your position away there, ducky. These look like mallards. Mallards and black ducks are very similar, but black ducks are darker and larger. It actually looks like that might be a juvenile and the mom mallard. All right, let's continue along and look at this beautiful Black Rock State Park pond. All right, there's a swimming area over here. But we're just going to stop right here. All right. Oh, there's a dragonfly just flew by me. There's some little lily pads right here. We have several different kinds of lily pads here in Connecticut. Actually, there's something for me to look up and identify the different kinds of lily pads. All right. So I wanted to let everyone know. I actually got some pretty bad news this morning. A friend of mine and of the Nature Center, Dr. Don Rankin, passed away last night. And for those of you that knew him, Don was a great friend, He was an amazing person to come in contact with in your life. Don was a member of the Friends of Hammonasset, and I met him when I first transferred to the park. And he was working very hard to get the old nature center winterized so we could do programs year-round. And if you know Don, he can come across really strong sometimes. He was very passionate about getting the nature center to be a larger facility. And as soon as we were able to winterize the building, he sat me down and he said, okay, what are we going to do now? And I said, a van would be great so we can do traveling programs. And he said, yeah, okay, that's easy. What you need to think bigger. And he pressed me for a while, trying to think big, and I was throwing out ideas, and he kept saying bigger, bigger, bigger. And when I finally said, well, it would be great to add an addition to the old building so we could, do large groups, he grabbed onto that and he ran with it. And he, along with, at the time, the park supervisor, was very supportive of the idea. And the president of the Friends was very supportive of the idea. So we got all the people on board and began the process of getting a new nature center. And now the nature center is a reality. And Don did his part. He raised, I think the estimate is around $1 million through Christmas tree sales and plant sales, the mum sale. And 500,000 of it at least went into the nature center, the winterization, the new building, the van, kayaks, sound equipment. So much of what I'm able to do is thanks to Don. And Don used to tell me he loved to do programs, and he could make a program. He could make to me, the most boring program sound like it was the most interesting program in the world. He loved to talk about the Big Bang and the creation of the universe and on and on. And he would tell people, oh, you're going to love this. This is the most exciting thing. And then start talking about, a billion years ago. And he just had a great way of educating. And I learned so much from him. Not only information, but just how to treat people. Don was very, very big on respect. He thought that we should show respect to everyone, especially children and our elders. And we spoke many times about having respect and what that means. And I hope that is something that I can carry with me the rest of my life. I hope that I will be able to honor Don by showing respect for other people. So this was a really hard program to do today. So we'll probably cut this part out and just put up the main program on our website. But you can see all of the programs that I've done in the past at the Meigs Point at meigspointnaturecenter.org, the virtual learning center. You can see them on YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, the Meigs Point Nature Center YouTube channel. And then soon we'll be able to do YouTube Live programs as well as Facebook Live, or YouTube Mobile, I think they call it. Continue to follow us and like us on Facebook. Make sure you tune in. 6:30 tonight, we're going to have live possums sharing the screen with me. I really wish I could just make it so that they would be on the screen, but can't do that through our Facebook account unless somebody knows how to do that. So, until this evening at 6:30, this is Ranger Russ signing off from Black Rock State Park. I hope you all enjoy this beautiful day. And again, make sure you reach out to people that may have been affected by these storms. If you think you know someone that might not have power, please reach out, see what you can do to help them out. And show respect for everyone around you. That's what I'm going to ask for today, everybody. Show respect to all of the people that are around you. Until next time, Ranger Russ signing off.